Welcome back to episode 4 of Tonight at MITA Arizona, October 26th, the largest gathering of industry professionals in the history of Arizona cannabis. Demitri Downing once again back here with my co-host for tonight,
John Hartsell.
the John Hartsell.
And we're talking, it's a little different setup here, Demitri, with one interviewee. He must be very important.
He is.
My God.
Look, he is the man in black.
That's right.
And the man in black is always important. And
Are you dressed as Johnny Cash tonight? I mean,
that's true.
yeah, I can see that.
I think what we're trying to do here is bring back a little bit of the 20s vibe.
Yeah.
We're not going to be wearing our, gold watches in our pockets or any of that, but we want to bring back a little bit of the classy, dress up, get out there vibe.
Yes.
Yeah.
And,
obviously, me too.
And we apologize in advance because we did not prepare Mo for John's sense of humor.
Mo is very well aware.
John Hartsell.
But he's very well aware of my sense of humor.
But we're dealing with some serious topics. I mean, we're sitting here with Mo. You want to introduce yourself?
Well, yes, I'm Mo Asnani. I've been in this little industry of ours since 2011, starting with the applications, all of that, getting the first store open with 3 employees in 2013, and today we have over 220 in Tucson, Arizona, doing 2 dispensaries, a production facility, a brand called iLAVA that you might have heard of, and we're launching a new brand called Roaring 20s tonight.
And what Mo leaves out of that is that he is one of the visionaries behind what is perhaps the finest or top 10 finest brands developed straight out of Arizona, going nationwide, conquering the country and then the world.
But Demitri, it's not uncommon for a guy out of Arizona to be breaking the mold.
I didn't get to plug the brand name.
I know, I'm just telling you, I love it.
Forget the brand name. Let's just talk about both.
I'm just telling you, it's not uncommon to find a leader in politics and in community and someone who's willing to cross all the lines to have community in our industry. That's rare. That's rare, and that's what Mo really represents to our industry here. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, first of all, thank you for those very kind words. I think that cannabis lives at the intersection of business and politics. And part of that is saying that we didn't exist a decade ago, and now we're here. And we're here in a really big way. You can literally smell the Foundry Hotel about 2 blocks down when you're walking over here.
It's not that bad. Well, outside it is, sorry.
Just kidding. But the simple truth is that for my journey in cannabis, it's been really important to make sure that the rights that we have collectively built as an industry, all our different businesses, not just in Arizona but across the nation, stay protected. We didn't build all this to get taken over by any other apex industries that have already got decades of domination in their space. We want to stay independent. We want to stay evolving in our own path and continuing to control our own destiny and not just hand it over to other industries as we continue to grow.
I've been out to a bunch of other conferences. Demitri, you and I were at Unpacked, and the CEO of Tilt talking about how they are now trafficking low percentage THC products across borders, daring the federal government to charge them with crimes. Do you see federal legalization coming on fast?
Well, I literally spend a lot more time now on federal than I did 6 months ago. I think that the announcement by the president in the last few weeks has definitely been a long time coming. It has been a catalyst. But the simple truth is that we all talk about interstate commerce like it's not a reality, but it's happening today. And in terms of low THC across state lines, that's a choice, but I just want you to remember this and think of it from this perspective. Every time a new state comes online, there's an entire ecosystem of entrepreneurs, not just on the plant touching side, but even folks like yourself, who build from the ground up because this industry was there to support it in your state.
And I think my drunk lean is knocking the table off. So
okay.
Your amount of focus on that is pretty amazing.
There's just a lot of moving parts here, but anyway. not just in this conversation, but even.
Most trying to explain the entire regulatory structure of the United States of American cannabis, and John's leading on the table.
And Demitri, you just in a LinkedIn post the other day, we're talking about irresponsibility of some of the MSOs and the way they're presenting themselves towards this national legalization?
No, well, I mean, that's a complicated subject, and I'd love to talk about that, and you and I should do a whole podcast on that, but we only have a limited number of time, so can we focus on, look at you, trying to block corner me in. Let's talk about iLAVA, Entourage, the Roaring 20s. I want to know, and I think the people want to know, who Mo is and what these brands are that he's developing, because I personally believe, all regulations aside, that brands will spread themselves widely across the country, and I see iLAVA as being like, I mean, I hate to use a comparison to like Silver Bullet and Coors, but that would mean that Mo has in Tucson, Arizona, he created an unbelievable.
No, I'm thinking more of Crown Royal.
Okay.
A brand that's an everyday man user, but has a little bit of shine on it.
Yeah, but
What about Blue Moon or Heineken?
Heineken. Where's Heineken from?
Germany, I believe.
That doesn't
or
matter.
Belgium, I don't know.
Now owned by an Amsterdam
So
company.
what Mo is doing here in
We're so
Arizona,
bad.
and there's a lot of people outside Arizona watching this. We just have to be little Arizona loyals. But these brands have homes. These brands have origins, and these brands create manufacturing jobs, cultivation jobs maybe, and other associated marketing jobs in their home base. And I'm excited at what you have done you now employ how many people?
We're right around 220 right now.
220 people.
Holy shit.
I know, look at you.
Hey, easy on that table.
Easy on the table.
But here's the thing, right? When you look at organic growth, it's taken 9 years to do that. It's not like one day we had 3 employees and the next day we had 100. All of this, not taking any outside investment, not diluting our ownership, a lot of that. And now we're working with, people who qualified for the social equity program here in Arizona too. And I think that one of the biggest things that you learn when you look at the big picture from a decade is that everybody working together, the smaller groups eventually create something bigger. And I think that's what we have done. And we've done that because we've been unified in our mission. When we passed legalization here in 2020, and a big part of that, I do think, is to some degree a good part of it, along with a lot of the larger groups. And without legalization, what you're seeing around would not have happened. Medical alone does not support this sort of infrastructure, industry, this type of crowd.
Mo, don't you think it's a little bit of a perpetuating thing that because this was happening, that happened, and because that happened, this is happening? I mean, your influence over the industry and leadership has created the environment for this kind of thing.
He really wants to get deep, doesn't he?
I think it's a joint effort. I think there's other people besides myself. I'll take credit for some part of it, of course, but this is not possible alone. This is possible when groups work together. And I think going back to a team, working together, that's the only way I know how to do anything. Because even in my own business, without my business partner, without the executive team we have, we would be able to figure certain things out. And I'll give you a simple example. With Entourage, you have multi-cannabinoid gummies for the first time in these ratios that nobody's made before with CBC, CBG, CBN. Of course, you can go and get all those individual things, but to make a product targeting specific problems that people face, that's what I think makes me wake up every morning and enjoy what I do.
I have staff that are using CBG every day to get themselves up to do the work and enjoying that. You're bringing those cannabinoids into a traditional platform for retail sales.
It's consumer packaged goods, right? Because in 2018 is the first time I realized that consumers are finally becoming loyal to brands in cannabis.
Yep.
Having done
My mom's loyal to iLAVA.
Well, at least the notion of loyalty, brand loyalty, started to pop up because the other problem you had was a lot of fly-by-night brands that would pop up in 2015, 2016, and they were gone by 2017. But the groups, who stayed in the game the longest and built up that market share and built up that consumer trust and confidence, they've been able to actually create the same type of environment that traditional retail has.
So,
brand loyalty.
Allow me to take this in direction because I really want to get into this. Mo, you are a brand master. I mean, iLAVA was one of the first big Arizona brands to be developed. What year was that?
Late 2016 is when we started working on iLAVA.
I feel as if I knew it earlier. Is it?
No.
Maybe it seems that's like 6 years ago.
Well, it's just your hallucinations prior to that.
Those are mushrooms somewhere. There's mushrooms somewhere. Okay, so, but tell us your what is it? The word foray, your entry into brands, and the evolution of it. Some of the different brands you're working on, that you've worked on, and what you're working on now. Because I definitely want to dig deep into what you do in that capacity.
I never wanted to build a brand, to be honest with you. And what happened is I wanted to build a really good product. And the first product we built was iLAVA Touch. And Touch was a clinical aromatherapist, came up with the essential oil formulas. We started to use THC and CBD in these ratios to target neuropathic pain. And all of a sudden, when we saw that it was just efficacy across the board, then we knew it worked. And for me...
Sit down. Let's have him sit down. Just jump in there. Just jump in.
Yeah, Touch is one of those products that, elevated the entire part of not just having cannabis as your ingredient set, but of essential oils.
Give a touch where?
Everywhere.
And my mom, my mom who has pain, most team, took some time and talked to her about what she needs for her pain, and she started using some iLAVA Touch. It's a little expensive, which we get the price down, but she really likes it. It's effective. And that was your first big brand.
We're actually working on the price point a little bit, and thank you for pointing that out.
I think that's
but all cannabis is still expensive.
Cannabis could be at any price point. That's based on the experience, right? I mean, at the end of the day, I'm willing to pay for a top-notch product on the shelf.
Yeah, well,
one that I know and trust.
If I could just frame it in this way. If you're able to go and get the kind of pain relief for less than $100 without dealing with a copay, having to go and get a doctor referral, and go through the entire medical system and potentially be put on an opioid or narcotic that may make you feel drowsy during the day, that's a point. Would I like for flexible savings accounts, health savings accounts to reimburse for products like Touch at some point? I'm going to stay in this for as long as I can until that happens.
I'm with you on that one.
I think it's really important that people are able to treat medical cannabis the same way any medicine is treated, and that includes insurance coverage and being able to write off these expenses.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you brought that up. But so iLAVA Touch was your first brand.
It was my first product, our first product that was worth having in multiple stores.
Okay.
And from that came the idea of let's make more products under this brand, because for us it was beyond, the results were amazing, and we'd never expected to see some of the results that we did. So then at that point, it was worth building the brand. A lot of people want to build a brand for the sake of building a brand. And I think when you build a product and then you can grow a brand out of that product, that's what makes more sense.
And then, I just want to say real quickly.
No, feel free. I don't know where you're going with this.
All I'm saying is I know where I'm getting most of their product is from TrueMed. Where some of the old school strains, the old school Arizona market, coming from old school California market, is where they're building that brand. And I just think it's a really important part of your story is that it's a local Arizona brand. It's not an MSO.
TrueMed is a different set of businesses than us.
I understand that, but that's where I'm finding your product.
Oh, awesome.
You're buying it at TrueMed.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. So that's a store you're getting it at. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm
He's
glad.
taking this somewhere.
Anyway, I think that I'm getting good product when I'm shopping at that kind of a retail store.
And TrueMed's locally owned, and I think that's another part to remember is, we do have some groups here in Arizona that are multi-state and have roots in Arizona and are from here, but a lot of the folks who got up and running in 2013, like Mike over at TrueMed and Lauren and John, they are part of the same...
Shout out to Lauren and John.
Yes, they're part of the same fraternity, if you will, the same pledge class, right, of 2012, 2013, to go through this 10-year period and watch an industry go from nothing to something really big.
It's an incredibly small market of people right now that are still left from that time, and you're still around.
You're still around, and I'm still around.
So, talk about that, though. I mean, you're swimming in a very big pool with some very big sharks. What does that feel like for you?
Like I've grown some scales.
Like what?
Like I've grown some scales. I'm kind of joking, but not really. But the simple truth is that, anytime a new industry comes up, I used to joke about this. I was like, this is going to be like There Will Be Blood, right? The movie about oil in the 1910s. People want to lay their ground and say, stake their claim that this is my territory. And I think a big part of that is simply saying that
Well, I'll say. Time out. Hold your
My
thought.
train of thought is often interrupted.
Hold your thought. We got Chip. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. We got
Awesome.
Chip Boyd in the house.
Chitty Chip.
Chip is Mo's partner.
What do you say, Chip?
What?
Wait, we're on TV?
He says.
you.
You're right there,
Wow,
but
sort of.
kind of.
Sort of
know,
on TV.
So Mo's kind of the public face of the whole package, the
He's the
conglomerate
whole package.
that is the giant enterprise and everything you guys are involved in. And I can't even keep track at this point now. Dispensaries and brands, etc. But Chip's like the quiet man behind the scenes that's doing things across the country. And we're pleased that you jumped in here.
Sweet.
Yeah, thank you. How you doing? Are you enjoying MITA?
Yeah, always, man. You're throwing a good party here.
Yeah. Well,
Seems like there's quite a lot of people here. How does this affect your brand every month?
Oh, I mean, a big part of our expansion has been through MITA and Dimitri's. I mean, look at the guy. He's I don't even know what that is.
He's dressed like Jesus.
Yeah, I was gonna
I'm
say.
Jesus 2.0.
I was like, I don't even.
I think at this point,
2.0.
Jesus dresses like him.
I'm the American version. That's right. You know what? Jesus. Jesus' only thing is he should have retained a lawyer rather than relying on the goodwill of man to keep him out of trouble.
He had the
when
the ultimate lawyer on his side. Resurrection.
Representation matters. Absolutely.
All right, and actually,
All right,
I'll
this is
get
not going to air, right?
No, that's all, Harry. It's all.
So you're the partner to Mo. Tell us about what your focus is on a day-to-day basis.
So Mo and I have been looking to expand iLAVA, Elevado, and our other brands into different states. So we're currently focusing on Missouri, Ohio, New York, and New Jersey right now.
Yeah, all great marketplaces. I mean, when you're thinking about that kind of expansion, how does federal legalization impact that?
Our assumption is that anything, and I think it's a safe assumption based on what we know, is that federal legalization is not going to happen overnight, and it's not going to be something where a floodgate of interstate commerce is going to be one of the first steps. It may happen eventually. We don't know the timeline of that. But I think the first step is access to banking, access to the capital markets, and really being able to get the same fair taxation treatment as any other industry. Right now, we're a second-class citizen compared to any other industry because we don't get to write off G&A. I mean, where do you see that, right? Where you can go and get publicly traded, but you don't get a tax write-off. So I think there's some of the things in our industry that we need to fix kind of commercial level. And then like we were talking about earlier, patients should be able to write off their medical expenses. I think that is very important.
100%. I mean, let's talk about what the industry has been facing. You say second-class citizens. I mean, I've been in that frame for a long time, second-class citizen.
All right, so I'm going to get back to the brands, if you don't mind. Because
Well,
I want to talk. We got into iLAVA, and then Elevado, you brought that up. I don't know much about Elevado. Is that Jeff Tice? Holy shit. Okay, hold on a second. We got Roaring 20s, and we got Entourage. You know what we're going to do? So people that are watching this and are like, I want to know more about these brands. We're going to do an hour-long special, and we're going to divide it into segments about each of your brands.
If I may add one thing,
He's been promising that for all night. Every other brand.
He tells that to everybody.
Yep.
Every girl he meets.
Yeah.
I'm going to do an hour show of you.
Yeah, no,
I'm
but
gonna-
we're all over the
I'm gonna
place
blow
here.
you up.
You know,
Everybody's getting an hour
I'm
long.
trying to provide content, man. Help me out.
So if you want content, we're opening a new dispensary, D2.0. It's still going to be the D2 dispensary, right? But we're moving it just a few hundred feet into an anchor spot, 10,000 square feet plus drive-through, happening by the end of this year. So all the brands that we're talking about will be showcasing in one of the largest dispensaries in Arizona and probably the biggest one in southern Arizona before the end of the year.
Somebody just dropped off a condom or something. I don't know.
No.
It's a gummy condom.
I actually made that package. That's not a condom.
Well, it does looks like a peace sign, but
Yeah.
also like a condom.
So look, folks.
You sell those in your dispensary?
You know,
No,
They would totally sell.
I don't think we have peace condoms.
Mo's a lot of fun. Chip's like the straight man over there. I can't explain John Hartsell. This is the brand master. I'm a big brand guy. The future of my cannabis industry is the brand thing. I see iLAVA.
Demitri Downing, you are a fucking brand.
Elevado, Roaring 20s. We got a minute left here. just real quickly, throw out a little bit about the Roaring 20s, and then let's come back and do a big segment on it.
Absolutely. Roaring 20s, right? There you go. Chip's rocking the shirt. For us, Roaring 20s is, we want to have fun again. We've been locked up, right? We went in the 1920s. Kobe died, and then COVID happened. And then here we are now, 2 years later, and we want to get back to having fun and having a good time like 100 years ago, like they were partying it up. We wanted to bring that into a little box that can slide into your pocket, and that's what Roaring 20s is. 6 indoor flower pre-rolls, 20% plus THC, 0% prohibition, baby.
All right, 20% plus. Okay, Roaring 20s, 6 pre-rolls. Okay.
I'm always looking for a party
flower.
in my pocket, you know.
Amen.
That's the plan.
Right now, I'm thinking that if I went into your pocket, there would be a party.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just feeling that. Okay, so Roaring 20s. We're gonna do a deep dive into the suite of brands. That what's your like conglomerate name? Like, you know, they do like Grupo Juan in Mexico. Is there like an overlying umbrella for everything?
Everything's AB46, baby.
What?
AB46.
Yeah, so we're AB46. AB40. We're gonna get into what AB46 is, and all the brands in their suite. We're gonna get into that in an hour-long podcast at a later date. And I promise you, I always follow through on my promises. But thank you guys for being here. Get back to the party. I mean, you got a lot of industry members here that want to learn about your brands.
Thank you for
who
having
you
us.
are and what you guys are doing. And John, I love you, brother.
Love you guys.
All right. Thanks,
Great
Mo.
job.
Thanks, Chip.
Thank you, guys.